This week on the Peace Podcast.
You want me to do this one? Oh, you do that. Right? Yeah. This is my friend. Gives back to the community and gets pie. Yeah. Okay, so hold on. How many did you have to feed?
Yeah, so our goal is to get 150 people within 30 days. So 150 bags. We got like granola bars in them, cough drops.
150 bags of food in the homeless.
All kinds of good stuff. So we were a little bit short, so 24 hours our team decided to match every dollar. So we got that last $50 within 24 hours, and that's why we're doing the pot.
So we got Leonard Matthews and we got
Garrett Hatter.
Garrett. Last name? Nice. Okay, good. All right, let's get this going.
All right.
In
Down or what?
you guys 3,
Oh.
2, 1.
In the face!
I can't see.
How does it feel? Sabian.
That's perfect. That was perfect.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Peace Personal Development Podcast. We got the whole crew here. My name is Leonard Matthews. Going to be the host for today. To my left is the amazing IU alum, Miss Alani Sinclair.
Thank you.
Shout out to my boy Garrett, the music producer, artist. Yes, and then the amazing educator, Alexis Harris.
Hello.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
What's up, Leonard?
Living the dream.
Yeah, got two sick people here with us. Spreading
Yeah.
around these germs from the cold.
Yep.
Cool. So we just watched that video on how we did the pie time. We promised the people if we got that money in 24 hours and we'd hook them up with the pie. About to put Garrett on the spot. He's got to tell us the story. He was saying something at the end of the video that we did not get to totally hear. I forget exactly what it was about, honestly. Garrett, do you remember what you're talking about, what you're trying to hit on?
Yeah, we had talked about what pursuing excellence meant to us.
Yeah.
And I had challenged myself to be more engaging in conversation with people that I came into contact with.
Right.
Regardless of who it was. And I made sure that I asked people how they were doing, but changed up the words instead of, how are you today? We all tend to say, good, how are you? Good, and then just leave it at that. So I would ask very specific targeted questions, throw them off a little bit, and I was at a gas station getting something to go to work, and I asked this lady, hey, how's your Tuesday going? And she goes, oh, I'm glad you asked. It's not going so good at all. It's sputtered, and she just spouted off what was wrong. I said, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope your day gets better. And so by the end of it, we were talking and laughing, and she smiled and said, hey, I hope you have a really good day. I said, thank you, you too. So it just helped her get through her day, helped me get through my day. It was just a positive impact, and I felt pretty good about it.
Yeah, no, that is pretty cool. I remember it's probably a year ago when I set that goal to inspire 75% of the people I come in contact with. And, I kind of noticed the exact same thing that you're talking about right now. Like, a lot of our conversations are kind of systematic, and we don't actually care. Like, hey, how you doing? Doing good. How about you? Doing good. Good. Have a good day. Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. And that is super important because, it's easy to care about somebody. Take 5-10 seconds, to just actually ask how somebody's doing, if they're okay. It's not gonna to kill you, I guess, to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate you doing that. Hopefully you can take that to the next level. In 2 weeks, we get another report of how you done that. I'm gonna push you farther.
I will do my absolute 100% best.
Yeah. This isn't enough. So.
I agree.
I have two funny stories. So speaking of interactions, I just want to jump into this. It's the funny part, and then I got a question for you guys. It's pretty deep, but this happens to me often, guys, and it's kind of weird. But over the past week, two people have literally grabbed me, as in physically grabbed my arm as I'm walking past them to ask me about the logo that's on my hat or that's on my shirt, because I wear P stuff all the time. So 2 people have literally grabbed me. One guy named Tim, and he told me about, obviously they asked me what the logo is about and stuff like that. I told him, and he said he was really looking to help with like suicide and killing. Like, it's really been on his heart, the youth, because there's been a lot of mass shooting randomly, or the suicide rate is skyrocketed. So it kind of helps me day to day to know that there is somebody else who's willing to stop, first of all, have a conversation with me, but also is willing to step out and say, hey, like, I want to help with this too. Because I feel like sometimes I'm on an island, outside of us right here. I feel like I'm on an island of people who actually want to help, help somebody else other than themselves. So it was cool to see this random guy, kind of grab me and ask questions to see how he can help us or help somebody else. Mm-hmm. And then the funny story is this guy named Grandpa. Literally asked him what his name was. He was like, Grandpa. I was like, all right, Grandpa. But he gave me like this funny quote, and I'm going to paraphrase it. But he said, America is just like humans or something like that. He said, we all have buttholes. Some places just have more than others. Or some humans have more than others or more than others. He's like, it's okay when a butthole poops on itself, but when it starts pooping on other people, then we got another problem. And we have so much of that today, and we need more people who keep the peace, is what he says, and keep their buttholes clean, or stop pooping on other people. And I'm paraphrasing because he added a few other words in there. But it was pretty funny conversation. Again, this guy literally just randomly grabbed me. He's like, peace. Oh man, I love peace. We need peace in this world. And you know how people just kind of rant on. Yeah, then he started talking about buttholes. I was like, geez, man, like it's an aggressive conversation, Grandpa.
You quit.
Yeah. Yeah, so I appreciate Grandpa and Tim. I'm going to try to meet with Tim again sometime soon. I thought that was pretty funny. So think about Grandpa. The topic that I want to get in today is fear. And you guys' opinions on fear. Like, what does fear mean to you? I guess the first question would be is, what is something that you do fear? Like, what are you scared of? And this could be like an animal. I'm sure Alexis right now is thinking about spiders. I can see her eyes. Yeah. I'm scared of, what are those things that she likes? Is it walruses or something like that?
Otters!
Otters, yeah. I'm scared of otters. After she just showed me these videos.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely thinking that.
So what is you guys' fear? I mean, it could be anything. Or you can give me like your top 3 fears. They say that America or the world's biggest fear is public speaking, which is crazy to me. That's like the world's number 1 fear is public speaking, and then next is death.
Next is what?
Death. So dying, yeah.
Yeah. I think my top one would be falling from an insanely high height.
Fear of falling. You know that's like one of the only fears that we're born with? So that's crazy that that's one that you think of, because that's like one of the only ones that we're actually born with. Everything else is learned. Every other thing that we're about to name is learned.
That's what I was going to say. So I guess I'll elaborate a little bit on mine. So I wouldn't say fear, because I feel like fear is a learned thing. Like, it's not realistic. It's in your mind. I would say it's something you're uncomfortable with. So mine would be, I guess something that I'm most uncomfortable with is like the thought of failure, or like not reaching your full potential in life.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
I think I'm right there with you.
I wish I could have something like ants or spiders, but it's like, that just is something made up in your mind. You can literally overcome anything that scares you if you just do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say my biggest one is like not reaching my full potential in life.
Yeah.
I will second that as well.
One that I can add in that's a little bit more tangible is like being homeless. And I'm not talking about homeless as in I decided to become a music artist and I'm living out of my car and stuff like that, but like legitimately coming to a point where I have no job, I have no car, and I have no hope or whatever, and I'm on the street, for an extended period of time. Like that's a huge fear of mine, is not being able to get out of that, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yep.
Alexis, what's yours? I think you had one a second ago, and I put you in a positive space with those otters.
You did. I guess you could say I could have three. My top fear, my number one fear is losing my dad.
Oh, wow.
I really had that put into perspective whenever he told me that he had cancer and he went in for surgery. And it was a big moment for me, because obviously you have trained professionals who are there to do these procedures and do it correctly, but then there's always like that 1% chance of something going wrong.
Right.
So I had crazy anxiety the entire time he was in surgery, and when he came out, I was the first one who got to see him, and I had never seen him in so much pain, and I just broke down, because like my dad's my number one, and I literally, like, the thought of him not being here one day terrifies me. My second one would be, don't laugh, I'm scared of the dark.
Oh, Lord.
So you got a nightlight, huh?
No. Okay, so see, there's a difference between being scared of the dark and then being scared of the dark.
Sounds the same to me, but I'll let you.
In the, like, essence of a room with no windows, one door, it's pitch black, and you start hearing those creepy sounds.
Okay, so creepy sounds maybe. Because the dark that you explained sound pretty peaceful to me.
Oh, no, no, because if I hear, like, if it's pitch black dark and I'm laying in bed and I hear a noise, I'm like, nope, turning on a flashlight, I ain't doing this tonight.
Okay. I'm buying you a nightlight for Christmas.
I already have one.
Oh, my fault.
And then my other one would be being alone.
Okay.
I think everybody likes having alone time, but at the same time, like, I like being around people. I like hanging out with you guys. I like being able to have a conversation. And I'm just scared of, like, one day of, like, not having anyone.
Interesting. Garrett, did you have anything else? It's fine now, because I got one that I want to add in. And I feel like this is probably like my only fear too, to be honest with you. Like, other than failure, like dying a slow death. Like, that's probably the only thing that I'm like,
Yep.
I hope this never happens to me.
Yep.
Dying a slow death, like being cut and bleeding out, or getting shot and I'm laying on the street. I'm just saying, like, this
Why
is.
is this so elaborate? Getting shot? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, I had to think about some of this stuff. Like, I gotta figure out how to, if I do get shot, like, how can I either save myself or end it quickly? One of the two. You gotta figure out a solution. But yeah, dying a slow death. Like, I don't fear death at all. I'm more than willing to die. It sounds a little morbid, but like, death is, I can die tomorrow, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess I died. No big deal to me. I don't have to live 60 years or whatever in order to be happy. But dying slowly, that's gonna be tough for me.
Yep, I agree with that. I'd rather just like be quick, boom, bam, done.
Yeah. So going back to my original point, the definition of fear, or what somebody told me the definition of fear is, or something that I'm making up, is fear is like false evidence appearing real. You probably heard that before. Yeah. So think about that. Your illusion of the dark being scary and these noises. Actually, that's perfect. The noises that you hear, like, this is false evidence appearing real. So something that you're making up. And you're like, oh yeah, this is exactly what it is. I know it is.
Funny story. it was really windy like last week, and there was one night where I swore there was just something. I swore.
You watch
and
too many scary movies, Alexis.
It just ended up being like a branch.
Yeah, that's typically how it works. So then my second question then is, with all these fears, how do we overcome them? Like, what are some solutions that, or remedies for, whether it's a minute or the rest of your life, that you can do to overcome the fear that you have?
I feel like a lot of it's mental. If you understand that, like, let's say public speaking. Let's say, for instance, I'm scared of public speaking. If I understand that that's just like in my head a fear, and I work every day or whatever it is to be uncomfortable in those situations, before long it's not going to be a fear anymore. Like if I'm working at it, and yeah, I'll be uncomfortable doing it, but if I've done it for a while, it doesn't become scary anymore.
I mean, but even if you're so I guess, how do you even get to that point? If I'm scared of something, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to stay away from it.
I think it's a mindset too.
So you have to want to overcome fear.
Yeah. Like sometimes I like to do stuff that scares me, because once I do it and I achieve it or I get past it, it makes me feel so empowered. Like, yeah, I did that.
I'm with you, but let's talk. I think you're a different breed. Okay, I think you're a little bit different from the average person. So like let's think about this through the lens of somebody who, like, all right, like, you're pushing for a new job or a better job or whatever it is, always the next level. What if someone's like, all right, cool, like, I have a very nice job and a comfortable life, and this is good for me. I don't have to push for extra. Like, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to put myself in an uncomfortable position when I don't have to?
That's a good one.
Like, how do you face your fears?
Like ripping a Band-Aid off.
What'd you say?
It's like ripping a Band-Aid off.
Just go for it. Is there a point that you think like you have to face it? Or you can just stay away from your fears for the rest of your life?
I mean, it depends on the fear. So, like, I was going to ask the question of, how am I supposed to overcome the fear of losing my dad?
Yeah.
So, I tend to look at it different ways of, like, my dad's lived a good life, like, he's been a positive man, blah, 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 blah. But then, I mean, I'm scared of the ocean, too, but I still get in the ocean. I just have, like, a limit of where I'll go.
You're scared of the ocean?
Yeah, I got stung by a stingray, so your girl don't get it in the ocean.
Gotcha.
So.
G? How do you overcome your fears, man?
Huh?
Do you have any fears? You don't have any fears to overcome?
Yeah. I mean, mine was falling from a really high height. And the only thing that I could think of to, like, overcome that would just be, like, bungee jumping. But,
that's really ripping the Band-Aid off right there.
yeah, it is. But other than that, I mean, like, I would have no way of overcoming it. I mean, because I'm roofing up 2 or 3 stories sometimes, 1 story. And so, I mean, I haven't fallen off yet. But I don't think, like, that, being up that high doesn't really scare me. It's, like, way higher.
Leonard, do you think it's mandatory to face your fears if you don't have to?
Good question.
I think it kind of hunts you. So yes, I feel like everybody, like, eventually has to face their fears. Probably not as aggressive as others, like me and you. Like, we're probably aggressively going after them, but I think they kind of just follow you. Like, things come in your life over and over again, and it's not going to go away until you completely face it or get rid of it.
But what if one's like something super basic? Like let's just say I have a fear of swimming, water.
Yeah.
Like I could stay away from pools, lakes my entire life and not have to face that.
But then you'll never do anything that you want to do, probably. Like, there's probably a lot of limitations on your life, which is what I'm talking about. It's still haunting you every single day.
Yeah,
like, there's so much that you have to restrict yourself from in order to just give in to your fears.
Mm-hmm. True.
Yeah.
So you think you have to?
I think that in order to live I won't even go with meaningful. I'll just say enjoyable life. Yeah. I think you have to face your fears, no matter how mediocre you want to be. The reason I ask this question is because number one, PEACE. The first part of PEACE stands for pursue excellence, And with that probably comes a little bit of fear. Kind of like we all started off and we agreed that failure was one of our biggest failures. Or failure was one of our biggest fears. So if that's true, then can you pursue excellence? Like, how do you pursue excellence if failure is one of your biggest fears?
Facing that fear with planning, with reaching, like,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Planning what you think living to your potential looks like and how you get there.
Yeah. Planning is important. That actually makes sense. Like, that's something super tangible that people can do. Like, hey, I have a fear of water, so I'm gonna take a shower or a bath every day.
Let me take swimming lessons.
Yeah,
something.
exactly. Yeah, let me go to the YMCA. Let me take some swimming lessons. You know, put my foot in the water first, then get my leg, then get my arm. And it's not even so you can be an Olympic. It's just so you can go to the beach if you want to, or go to a pool party. You know, it's not even saying like these fears are supposed to be catastrophic and supposed to make your life so much better, but they probably will change the quality of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think they would haunt you if you don't do something about it to overcome it at some point in your life. Because you could be like on your deathbed essentially and be like, oh, there's that one thing that I didn't do.
Yeah. I bet there's a lot of those too. Where there's a lot of people that have all these fears and probably still doubts about themselves. I feel like this starts to creep into your self-awareness and
Well, you've heard about
who you are as a person.
the little saying when you ask someone on their deathbed some things they regret, and they're always like, you can't take money with you, and you can't have your life back, like you can't do experiences that you passed up on,
Right.
like
Yeah.
living your life to the fullest.
Yeah.
Not taking chances.
Yep.
So what's a way, Alani, I want to hear from your perspective, that you attack failure? Or give me an example or a story of a time that you weren't sure that you're going to fail, but there was definitely a possibility and you went for it anyway.
Ooh.
Do you have any of those?
Ooh, I do. I'm trying to think of a good one. So I feel like failure is gonna happen regardless, but I feel like it's important to fail forward. So everyone's gonna fail at whatever it is in life, but it's when you fail, you're learning from it and you're learning how to do it better next time. So failing forward. So for me in basketball, like I've had tons of failures, not getting on teams I want to, or not having the career I've wanted, but it's always failing forward. So for instance, when I got out of college at IU, I wanted to make it to the WNBA. Didn't make it there. So that in my eyes was failure. But failing forward is, okay, I didn't make it to the league. I'm not going to cry, have a pity party. Like, what do I got to do? Who do I got to get around? What do I have to learn to still play professional basketball? And that step was overseas for me.
Yeah.
And had a great career overseas playing. And had some of the best times. And looking back, I'm like, was it really a failure? At that time, what I wanted, I didn't get. So technically on paper, yes. But failing forward, it wasn't a failure because I gained so much more out of it. So I think you can do that at your job, anything. So failure is not a bad thing as long as you're learning from it. But one thing that I like to challenge myself with, like Leonard said, I guess I'm a little bit of a different breed because I'm a weirdo, you guys. But like I like doing stuff that kind of scares me to overcome like that feeling that I was scared doing it or uncomfortable. So it's easy for me to communicate and talk and have conversations with people who I'm familiar with or who we have a lot in common. But I kind of take it as a goal on myself is at least every day find someone that kind of doesn't see eye to eye with my views, or I feel like it's really hard to talk to that person. Just something I'm uncomfortable with. And normally I would shy away from just going out for that opportunity, like going to talk to them, even though it's the last thing I want to do because I know it's awkward. I know it's weird. It never feels okay. But once you actually have conversation with that person or you do whatever it is that you're uncomfortable with, it's just like you climbed a mountain. Like for me, that's how I feel. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's good. That's good. Anybody else have any times that they feel that they can think of? That's like the hardest. Interviewers always ask me that question. I'm like, oh gosh, man. I fail every single day, and I cannot think of one instance right now. I cannot think of one instance right now. I'm perfect. Do you guys have any instances that you can think of? I got one for you, Garrett. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Thank you.
Do you have anything for real though? If not, that's totally fine. All right. Can we think of if you were to talk to yourself at like your lowest point in life right now? Okay? And I don't know if that was last week, I don't know if that's right now or 6 years ago, but like your lowest point in life. Can you think about that? And like what would you tell yourself at that moment? Or what's a quote that you've gotten recently, or a story that you've learned, or a lesson, maybe a book that you've read? Like, what's one thing that you would tell yourself at that moment, your lowest point in life?
That's good.
That's deep.
Oh man.
It doesn't have to be deep. It could be something
there's a
super
lot.
simple.
I would probably say just keep going forward, just keep trudging through. Instead of just, because when most of us are at our lowest point, it's sometimes woe is me, I'm all alone, I can't believe I'm going through this, why am I doing it, that kind of thing. So just trudging through, the light at the end of the tunnel's coming up, just keep moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would be my thing.
Alexis? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was
Alana.
gonna say, what would yours be, Leonard?
What would mine be?
Yeah.
So something I've learned, I've been in a lot of bad places in my life. I've been down a lot. For me to be a very positive person, like there's been some stints in my life where I've been like super down. And every single time I can realize, like right after or during, that like what I'm going through is preparing me for something later. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm the right person to go through this crap. Like I'm happy that it's me and not somebody else, to be honest with you. So like, yeah, what you're going through is preparing you for like what you're gonna do later. You might not see it now, but try to soak up as much as you possibly can.
That's a good one. What about you, Alexis?
Your story's not over yet.
I like it. Coach?
Don't call me coach. No, I don't know. Just that saying, kind of like what you were saying, that God gives his strongest or his hardest battles to his strongest warriors. So like, if you're going through it, it's for a reason. And then another thing I always kind of tell myself is, whatever I'm going through at that moment, there's always someone out there that has it worse. It could be whatever it is. If everything's falling in place, like out of place, I always have my health. I have my family. Like there's always stuff there's positives you could take out of what you still have. So there's always people wishing for what you currently have.
That is so true, man. So true. I wish that more of us can grasp like that point right there. Is like there's always somebody out there wishing they had exactly what you did. Like, cool. So I'm gonna wrap up this podcast. Unless you guys got something fun you want to say.
We got to end on a high note, man. We've been talking a lot of
high
realness,
note.
but scary, but
you
failures
guys,
and
you guys want a high note?
yeah.
So here's a funny story. As Alani knows, I started up a nonprofit about a year ago. Okay, so here's a fear, I guess. Kind of another story on fear, not a high note, but another story on fear. So about a year ago, I started up a nonprofit for the first time ever. I had no clue how to do it. was told you needed attorneys, blah, 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 all this paperwork. And I went through the process completely by myself, a lot of research, a lot of asking questions, and somehow got the paperwork done in 3 months. I was told at minimum it was going to be 6. Okay? In 3 months, we were able to get this thing certified. I was like, holy crap, man. Now I know how to do it again. So when it's time to put P.E.A.C.E into place, of course, done. Easy work. 3 months is when we're going to have it. So about 3 months ago, I put in the paperwork for P.E.A.C.E, and I'm like, I put in for the incorporation. Then after that, you got to put in for the 501c3. November 29th, we did that for the 501c3. And, I've been checking. I actually recently gave a phone call because I'm getting a little nervous, like what's going on. I gave a phone call very recently, like about a week ago, and I didn't realize that the government was shut down. So even if I put my paperwork in, they're not gonna. I
totally spaced that.
Yeah, the government has the longest shutdown in like 60 years or something like that, or maybe even ever. Wow. So it was shut down for 30 days. So I'm like, oh man. Talking to the lady on the phone, I'm like, all right, cool. Well, when can somebody get back to me? She's like, I don't know. I have no clue what to do, but I'm going to check on your status and see what's going on with it, maybe give an update. Talked to her for a second. She's like, all right, it looks like they sent you something. I'm not sure why you didn't get it. Oh, that's why you didn't get it. The government shut down. Well, it looks like they did make a decision. I'm like, oh, crap. They made a decision, and it's only been, a month and a half. And we got favorable, guys.
Yeah.
We got the nonprofit.
That's awesome, man.
Official. So,
I like it.
Yeah, pretty quick turnaround. We are official. So there's some good news for you.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Great.
we're ready to get moving now. Ready to really ramp up things on what we're gonna do with the youth and the homeless and all that stuff. Is that a positive note for you?
Yes, I love it.
Because
I love it.
We've been waiting on that.
We've been waiting patiently.
We've been waiting on that for a while. So the government shutdown didn't stop us. We're good to go, guys. So everybody who's donated so far, we appreciate it. We're very upfront letting you guys know that it's not official just yet, but we are doing things for the people. You guys will be getting a nice little thank you card very soon. And then I do want to end on a note as we do this. I don't think I was planning on saying this, but to finish off, I want to finish with this quote. It says, peace doesn't mean perfect. So like telling you guys this who think peace means perfect, as in everything's positive and stuff like that, like peace doesn't mean perfect or even ease. Pursue excellence and cherish everyone does not mean everything's going to be kosher and enjoyable. A lot of times it's imperfect, actually. There's a balance. And then the quote to finish off is a very famous one. It's, yea, though I walk through the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And that shows the exact dichotomy that P.E.A.C.E is talking about. Yea, though I walk through the shadow of death, a very scary point in your life, the shadows, the valley of death, I will fear no evil. Then he goes on to say that, my God or whoever you believe in is with me. So I thought that was really cool, and it's a perfect picture of, like, there's a huge balance there on, hey, I'm in the worst place possible. I'm scared. There's death here, all my fears, but I will fear no evil because I do have, quote unquote, peace. Mm-hmm. So appreciate you guys listening. Hopefully you guys have peace. Drop something in the comments for us. What is your biggest fear and how do you overcome that?
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
Seriously. And like we always say, make the people because the people make the movement. Peace.